Guys, this is a chicken dish that I'm making for dinner. I'm just showing you how to make it. I take frozen chicken breast and I make it semi-frozen when I cut it. I think it's easier to cut into cubes. Doesn't matter how big your cubes are. They can be really big or they can be really small. That's really up to you. So you're going to take some olive oil in a pan and a little bit of salt at the bottom. Not a lot, because don't forget the saline solution or the solutions that they use in chicken has salt in it. So you really don't want to add a lot. I added just a little bit just to help bring out or bring up the temperature as I'm defrosting this as it's cutting. So it really doesn't take a whole lot longer to finish cooking it, but you're gonna just stir this up and cook it until it is fully cooked. And then you're gonna also have a pan of water boiling. Right now it has garlic powder in it. That's gonna give some flavor to the noodles. I'm gonna also add some olive oil to it, and the olive oil is just gonna help it so that the noodles don't stick. And I'm just doing this on high. I'm not adding any salt. Okay, so the way this dish originated, it may be a real dish, may actually have a name. I have no idea. I was just putting food together one day, and this is what I came up with. It was kind of semi-inspired by my sister-in-law, because she was cooking veggies and stuff with pasta when she stayed with us once. And then I got adding cube chicken to it. So I have to give that credit to my sister-in-law, Lisa Smith. So as you can see, this is starting to cook. It's going from pink to white. So you just kind of keep an eye on that. And then we're keeping an eye on our water. The other thing that you're going to use is zucchini and squash. I've already pre-sliced them and I already washed them, but it's just yellow squash and green zucchini. Once our chicken is cooked, then we're going to add it in. I don't have any actual measurements because I just always do this by hand, by eye, so it's whatever you want, as much or as little as you want. Now I know olive oil is usually cooked on low heat and is not normally good for high heat cooking. But because I use the chicken in a semi-frozen state and defrost it, that kind of negates the purpose of having to do it at a lower temperature, which means it's okay for this to boil. I'm not making this much chicken, but it's almost ready. And then once this is done, we will add our veggies. But again, just remember, I've already cut and washed the veggies, so once I do pour them in there, know that they have been cut and washed already. And we are still keeping an eye on our water, because we're just going to put in regular pasta. You can use whatever kind of pasta you want. I usually use a straight pasta like spaghetti, thin spaghetti, angel hair, linguine, fettuccine, that kind of stuff. I usually don't do a rotini or anything, but you could if you want. Make it your own. Okay, now that our chicken is all white, not necessarily cooked all the way through, but now that it's all white, we can go ahead and add our vegetables. And before we add our vegetables, know that I'm still waiting for the water to boil on the pasta. Okay. Just going to dump this in a little at a time. Sorry, I know I'm cooking on a stove that's got dirty stove top. This is not mine since I live in a van. So you're just going to slowly add in your veggies, start mixing them around. Again, please make this your own. You don't need to do it just exactly like I do. I'm just telling you my steps and the main things that I do to it. But you want this juice that's made with the olive oil and the chicken juice because it helps with cooking your veggies. So our veggies are going in. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is get a lid and let it cook. Okay, as you see, the lid is on and it is now cooking, and the steam will help wilt up the vegetables and cook them a little faster while we still wait for our water to boil. I'm not turning down the temperature quite yet. It's still at a medium-high heat. Okay, now that the veggies are wilting, we're going to turn it down a little bit and we're going to cook it for just a little bit longer with the lid off. This way the juices and stuff that are in there will actually start to go into the atmosphere and absorb. Once there's no more juice in there, it's done. And then you can add it onto your pasta, which we will do in a little bit. As you can see, our water is starting to get ready to boil, but it's not boiling quite yet. Okay, pasta's in. Now that my water just started boiling. And we come over here and we just stir this up a little bit. Make sure we get all that chicken flavor goodness into our veggies as they cook. Now remember, I didn't add anything to this, just a little bit of salt at the very bottom. And it was with the salt grinder, and it was just enough to cover the bottom. That brings out all that goodness in there. Alright, now that a lot of that juice is down, there's still a little bit in here, just enough to keep it from burning. So just a little bit of garlic powder. Sprinkle it on top. Not much though, because you don't want to overpower your dish with the basil garlic. But you do want to give it some flavor. Okay, we'll let that finish. Go here, our pasta, checking our pasta. Look at that. Looking good. Now remember, we put garlic powder in the pasta water, so that garlic powder is also going to be in there. That's another reason you don't want to overpower with garlic. Alright, our pasta is cooked and drained. So now I'm going to add butter. In this case, I'm adding the whole stick because I made the whole pound of pasta. And you need to make sure you coat it really well. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mix it up. Okay. Now I like non-salted butter, but only butter in this household was salted. Now that it's all mixed up, I'm going to go ahead and add our veggies. Okay. So what I'm going to do is normally I would just dump this all in there. But because it's such a huge pan, because I made this for an army's worth, I'm just gonna scoop this in here a little at a time. But normally I just make this for a couple people, and I don't have to make quite that much. Okay guys, Now that it's in there, we're just gonna leave that on top. And then as we scoop it out, we'll scoop up down from the bottom with a bunch of pasta. And we'll get our meat and our pasta put on the plate. When done, it's kind of what it looks like. Then you're gonna take, sorry, I didn't realize that counter was so gross. You're gonna take Parmesan to it. Okay, in this case, I've got shaved Parmesan. That works wonders. Okay, just put it on there, make it nice and pretty. There you go.